What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Sunday, December 8th, 2024. My name is Chris Drummond. I am a freelance sports reporter based out of Minnesota here. Also proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a special guest that's going to be coming on with me today. Her name is Debra Gil. She has over 21 plus years of experience at her current station right now, which is KPTV Fox12, based out of Portland, Oregon. But she got her starts in El Paso, Texas, as a journalist. We're going to talk to her about her why of getting into journalism and also get to know her outside of her occupation. So without any further ado, I introduce to you the wonderful and talented Debra Gil.
Any better? No, it still says cannot start video. You still can't see me.
No,
What?
And you got, do you have the slash over the video or no?
Yeah, and I don't know how to get rid of it.
Now, normally when you press it, like when you press it, it says mute and then it says video, and then you hit the video again and it should go off, that slash. Yep, now I got you. How you doing, Debra?
I needed to click it more than once. All right, I'm good.
It's awesome. Happy to see your face. You look absolutely lovely today. Just want to start off by saying that. And also want to say thank you for hopping on my podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder. How is your weekend going so far?
Thanks for inviting me, Chris. It is going well so far. It's been raining here in Portland, but other than that, it's December, so we expect that here.
Absolutely. I totally understand that. We got a little bit of snow over here in Minnesota, but now the snow is gone because it's up to 50 degrees now, which is absolutely crazy here in Minnesota. No question about that.
That would be
But we'll take it. We will take it. No regrets or no apologies here. No complaints either. So we're good. I want to reiterate to you, Debra, why I wanted to have you on my podcast here. I know you have 21 plus years of experience there at your current station, which is KPTV Fox 12 there in Portland. But I know you got your origin start in El Paso, Texas. I know that's where you started journalism at. So you have a plethora of years of experience as a journalist. I'm about 7 years in myself of working into this industry. I love talking to different journalists and finding out their why. Because everybody's story is different. We're so used to getting the stories and being out there and about that we don't get a chance to really sit down and have conversations like this on our why. And your why is just as special as anyone else's. So that's why I like to reach out to different people and kind of network. I've had the privilege of also doing a little bit of research here as far as some of the reels that you've done and some of the stories that you've done. I saw the one that you did a few years ago where you was making snow angels live on the ground. I saw that one. I saw the one where you also did the one with the Maui fires that happened out there with a lot of unfortunate deaths out there. And I've been to Maui, so I understand what that is and what that area is. So that definitely touched me and reached me as well. I thought another interesting one I saw was the one about the frozen yogurt and the crash in Northeast Portland, if I'm not mistaken. I was like, wow. I was like, that's odd. Just crash into a frozen yogurt spot, but hopefully everybody was safe and good. I did take a time to watch a little bit of that and saw that too. So I'm a new fan of yours, and I'm very happy to be able to talk to you on this day.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, slight correction, Chris. I actually started 40 years ago. Yeah, 21 here in Portland, but my career actually expands 40 years now and started in San Angelo, Texas, an even smaller town and even smaller market than El Paso. El Paso was my second station. And then from there, I went to Central California, to Fresno, and then here to Portland. So that's been my path.
I love it. And I know you're from California, if I'm not mistaken, which I am too. I'm from San Diego, to be exact. I know you're from upstate. And if I'm not mistaken, you're also a huge 49ers fan.
Yes, I am.
Mhm. Absolutely. Y'all having a pretty tough season this season, Deborah.
Yeah, yeah, it's not gone well lately.
I understand. I understand. But listen, injuries happen. That's a part of the game. And listen, you can't be on top every single year. You guys
Right.
been rocking it for a lot of years. So, but without any further ado, this is my first question to everybody that I have here on my podcast, and it's pretty simple. What is your why? What is your why of doing what you do? Did you have any role models growing up? Did you have any inspirations growing up? But what is your why of getting into this journalism industry?
I have a very unique story in how I actually got started because I do not have a college degree.
Hmm.
And that's unusual for people in this field.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to be given a chance by the news director in San Angelo, Texas. Um, I always, though, in school excelled in journalism and in English and in creative writing. And I had moved to San Angelo kind of on a whim, wanted to go down a different career path, and went to work for a temporary work services called Kelly Girl. I'm not even certain if they're still in existence.
Okay.
And the first job they gave me was as a receptionist at their front desk at the only television station in San Angelo.
Mm.
And it was supposed to be just a temporary, a short gig while the receptionist was out on leave for surgery. But it was a gig that would last several months. You had a long recovery time.
Okay.
And in that time, being in Texas, where most everyone there had a Texas accent, I came from California, so I did not have an accent. And the group that makes commercials called Creative Services asked if I would voice some commercials for them. And I said, sure, why not? So I did that. And then they asked me to actually appear on camera in a couple of commercials. So I did that. And in
Okay.
the meantime, I was, making friends in my workplace, and I became really close friends with a lot of people in the newsroom. And kind of, I call myself kind of a newsroom groupie. I started just hanging out with them and watching what they did. And I was fascinated because I've always been drawn to that, but I didn't realize that that would be a career for me. I didn't know that I could even do that. And so when that time for my temporary position was set to end, the news director said, hey, I'm making some changes in the newsroom. I'm promoting my main producer to executive producer, and he needs an assistant. Would you like to try it? And
Sure.
he said, we'll have you stay working for the temporary agency. So that way we're technically not employing you. You're working for them. And that means that if it doesn't work, this is a trial for maybe a month. If it doesn't work out, you're still working for your temporary agency. Nothing, no harm, no foul, basically. And
Right.
you can decide, we can decide, and let's just see. And I said, absolutely, sounds great.
Okay.
Within a few weeks of doing that and helping the executive producer line up stories for the newscast. And by the way, the news director that gave me that chance was also the primary anchor for the evening newscasts.
Mm.
So once I started doing that and working with the executive producer, I in essence learned on the job.
Mm.
And I realized how much I enjoyed it and how much it really fell in line with my just natural ability and skill set. And fairly soon, then they hired me permanently and said, yeah, you're in. And I said, great. And then they made me an actual producer of newscasts.
Mm.
And after doing that for a year or two, I said, I think I want to be on the air. Can I try it? And the news director said, absolutely. Save some of the scripts from one of our evening shows,
Mhm.
record it out on the set, have the production team, record it. I'll take a look at it. This was back when it was still on tape. And
Mm.
and he said, I'll take a look and see. And he was extremely impressed for someone that had not had that experience and done it before. And he says, I'm not just going to immediately make you an anchor. And he says, but let's start sending you out on some stories and get some reporting in your, under your belt. And so I continued to produce, and then I started doing some reporting. And after doing that, and then another year went by, and he made me an anchor of their morning show, a co-anchor of their morning show. But all along as I was doing this, I realized it was like a duck to water. I was meant to do this. And I
Mm.
realized that there's a lot of people that when they think they want to do something in life, they go for it. And others like me weren't really sure. And you kind of stumble upon your career and realize this is what I was meant to do all along. So, call it
Absolutely.
divine intervention or getting in the right place at the right time or whatever you want to call it. It was, it put me where I needed to be and where I believe I was supposed to be.
I love it. Yeah, I definitely would say it's a combination of both, right? Like it's almost like you did stumble upon it, but at the same time, when somebody threw you one of those lofty layup pitches, you hit it out the park. I
There
mean,
you
that's
go.
just what it was. That's just what
Yeah.
it was. You know,
Yeah.
you can get pitched all you want, but if you don't put the ball on bat, it doesn't matter. So you definitely deserve your roses for that because, like you said, there's not a lot of people that get jobs like that that don't have the degrees or the credentials. What's more so like it, but
Right.
you stepped up to the plate and you did what you had to do. That is a unique story. That's probably the first time that I've talked to a journalist that's flat out said, you know what, I don't have a college degree, but you've been in it for so long and doing such great work. So that's amazing to hear.
And I regret it. I wish now that I had had one. I wish that I'd had better, role models and mentorship when I was younger to tell me that, hey, you can, go get your general ed stuff out of the way, get your AA degree and figure it out when you're there, or just pursue it. You can decide what your major will be once you're there. Because at the time I thought, okay, I'll probably go to school. I just don't know what for yet. And I thought in the meantime, I'll just work. And then, life happens and things changes and you end up moving. And so it ended up kind of finding me. Um, but yeah, I truly believe it's what I'm supposed to do.
Absolutely, no question. And mind you, it's funny that you said that, like started off with that as far as the college degree, because I was searching like hell trying to find where exactly did you go to college at, but I could not find it anything. But that's okay. That's all right. I was going to pivot and not even ask that because it's still even amazing that you had all these years of experience of moving to different places from Texas to California to now Oregon. And that's the life of a journalist on the move, moving to certain places and moving out of your comfort zone of where you originally are from, which we
Yes.
already said you're from California. So I want to ask you some favorite things. And you just give me the 411 based upon what some of your favorite things are, Deborah. Okay, so here we go.
Okay.
Favorite meal you like to cook?
That I like to cook? Oh my goodness. See, that's different than what I like to go out for. But no, I think it would probably be the same thing. I love shrimp scampi
Oh,
with
okay.
some
All
angel
right.
hair pasta. Yeah, that's a
Absolutely.
go-to favorite. Yeah, love
Yes,
that.
indeed. Yes, indeed. No question. I love shrimp. Love pasta. So combination of two, you already got me. So I'm cool with that. I love it. All right. Favorite concert you've ever attended?
Oh, now if you haven't figured this out yet, I'm old. I mean, having been in the business for 40 years, been around for a long time. So music that I love
Sure.
is from way back decades. But
Mhm.
I loved the band Boston when they were in their heyday, and I actually saw them 3 times in concert, and it was always phenomenal. I loved them. But one of my most recent that now I've seen them twice, and it's something that is so enjoyable in this time period in the holidays, is Trans-Siberian Orchestra, where it
Oh yeah.
combines that, orchestra and stringed instruments with rock, and it's just and Christmas. It's beautiful, and that's my most recent favorite.
Absolutely. I've seen them a few times. No
They're
question
so
about
good.
it. Yeah, very good. No question. When I was in Atlanta in my undergrad, saw them. When I moved up to Minnesota here, saw them here again. I do know of the band Boston. If you ask me to give you 5 songs, that might not be possible. But I do know the band Boston very well.
Big in
Uh,
the 70s.
absolutely, no question. More so of an Eagles person than maybe Def Leppard. Me,
I
I
love
like.
Def Leppard.
Yeah, those are my bands that I rock with because I do like classic rock very well. Favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Wow. I've been to a lot of places. That's one of my favorite things to do when I'm not working
I
is
know it.
is traveling.
Mm.
Um, and I love Europe. It's like I tease my husband. It's like, give me a medieval city and I'm a happy girl. Um, wow, favorite place that I've traveled. That's hard to nail it down because I've been to so many that I just thoroughly enjoyed. Um,
Give me a couple if you want to.
I
Give me a couple.
loved Prague.
Yeah, yeah.
And I absolutely loved the city of York in England.
Oh,
Both cities really special to me. Um, and also a smaller city, but again, very medieval, very old, is Rothenburg ob der Tauber in Germany. So yeah, it's hard to nail it down. There's so many cities that I have been to that I just fell in love with.
oh, absolutely. I just got my passport this year, which was great. Awesome
Good
because I
for
went
you.
on a cruise. Went
Oh,
on a
good.
cruise a month and a half ago. Family cruise. It was great. And I went to Jamaica, which is now my new favorite spot.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
before then it was Cabo San Lucas.
That is a
Uh,
great city.
so I got hooked. It was my first cruise ever, and I was like, it was definitely not going to be my last.
I have never been on a cruise and I want to go. I know. Hard to
Okay,
believe, but I haven't.
okay, you got to tell the
I
hubby
I
and
have to go.
yes, y'all get it together for 25, whatever y'all do, it'll be great. And you could probably port from Seattle,
Yeah.
Washington. So
Mhm.
you can port from there. So anywhere you want to go, for sure. My next cruise is actually going to be in Greece next June.
Oh, I'm envious.
So yes, I'm looking forward to that for
Very
sure.
good.
Um, Now you said you like travel, but I also know you're a huge sports fan as well. That's the genre that I cover predominantly. So favorite sports team, or favorite, yeah, I would say favorite sports team that you like to watch in person, favorite sports team that you like to watch on TV.
Going back to my Bay Area teams, I love the San Francisco Giants and I love the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay. I feel it. I feel it. Listen, they had quite the team in the '80s. Obviously, Bill Walsh, Montana, Young, Bryce, Craig. I mean, I can go on and on, probably bore you to death with
And it was
listing
fun to
all.
watch them when they were winning and they were big like that, but I still have to enjoy them even now when they struggle, or otherwise I can't call myself a true fan, right?
That is very true, and they have some great pieces on the team. They just have not been healthy all season long. I'm sure you love the Giants, especially the last decade, the 2010s to the 2020s. They were definitely winning multiple World Series
Yeah.
championship. Buster Posey is now in the front office. You guys
Yes.
did a huge signing with Willie Adames, giving him
Yeah. Just saw that.
182 million. So yes, no question. He's going to be a huge upgrade over Brandon Crawford, who's getting
I
a little
loved
long.
watching Brandon play. I thought I was going to miss him, and then and I thought, what are they going to do? And then when I uh, read that yesterday about the new signing, I thought, okay, okay,
Absolutely, absolutely. They're gonna need to because obviously the Dodgers just keep getting richer in that
Ugh,
in that division. No question about it. And listen, I'm not a Dodgers fan. Being from California, I'm a Padres fan. I told you I'm from San Diego, so I'm hoping that at least we're in agreement. We got to somehow, some way, either team up to knock out these Dodgers because they just keep on just doing the thing in this NL West division.
absolutely.
I'm with you on that. It's awesome. Okay,
And I'm kind of
favorite. Go ahead.
I want to say in the minority, but there's a surprisingly large number of Bay Area fans up here in the Northwest. You would think most everyone would be Seattle fans,
Yeah.
Mariners, Seahawks, now they've got the Kraken and, they're, but they don't have basketball. That was taken from them, and we do here in Portland. We have the Blazers. So I like watching them play too.
Absolutely. Actually, I remember when the place there in Portland used to be called the Rose Garden. If you
Yes.
remember that, the Rose Garden, and I remember those old school Blazer teams with Clyde Drexler, Terry Porter, Jerome Kersey. Those
Yes.
'90s teams were really good. I'm a historian of the game, so I love that, and that's one of my places that I want to go. I want to go to Portland, Oregon, just to kind of check mark it off because I too, and I actually read this about you, Deborah. You also do this. You are one that wants to visit every MLB stadium because I also want to do that.
I
Now,
do.
I've been to 13 so far.
Ooh,
I've been to 13, but I want to go to all 30 stadiums for sure.
I'm at 22.
Okay, so I got some catching up to
You
do.
do. Yep.
I got some catching up to do. But
It's
what's the
doable.
what's the 8 that you haven't been to?
Oh boy. Okay. I haven't been to New York,
Okay,
Cincinnati,
okay,
Houston.
okay,
Let me think. Baltimore.
Yep. Okay. We're
Um,
on that one.
well, both New York Mets and Yankees, so I guess that's two there.
Yep.
Um, I'm drawing a blank now. I can't remember. Atlanta. Haven't been there.
Really? Brewers Field. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't been there. Um, I don't know how many I've just named, but I'm sure I'm missing a couple.
A couple. I would say, have you been to Chase Field,
Uh,
Arizona?
oh yes, absolutely.
Okay. They might not
Several
be called
times.
Chase Field. They might not
Yeah.
be called Chase Field anymore. Have you been to the Arlington one in Texas?
Yes, but I believe it was the old one.
The Globe Life? Okay, the old one, not the
I
new
think so. Yeah.
one. Okay, so you've been to that one.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm okay. You've been to the White Sox and Cubs,
Yes.
Chicago.
Yes. Both.
Both of those. Okay. Well, it
And
seems like
enjoyed
you've
it. It
been
was great.
so I'm in the one agreement with you, and that's Baltimore. I have not been to the Baltimore one. I've been to the Nationals Park. Been
I
to
have to.
Nationals Park.
I have to.
But I have not been to Baltimore.
Yeah.
But I have been to the other five that you mentioned, the New York ones. Yep, the one in the Bronx and also City Field. I've been
Haven't
there.
done that yet.
Obviously, I came from Atlanta, so I definitely been to Truist Field for sure. Cincinnati, Great American Park, probably one of the best, if not the best, ballpark there.
You think?
Like
Okay.
MLB, in my opinion. They got some of the greatest food. If you like ballpark food,
Oh
they have some
yeah.
in Cincinnati, no question about it. So I know for sure I've been to those, but I still have a lot more to go to in Houston, which I have a brother in Houston, so I definitely been to their park for sure. Minute Maid Park is beautiful. I love that. Okay, I like that. Last of the favorites. Favorite food, or as for, not favorite food, but favorite place that you like to go out to eat at? Because I'm a huge foodie, Deborah, and I will be visiting Portland, Oregon soon. I will, because I love to travel as well. I want to know what's
I'm
some good places to go.
I'm sad, Chris, because I'm not a great person to ask because I don't go out a lot. And when I do, it's usually like just kind of cheaper places. So I'm not the one to ask about the great foodie scene that we have here in Portland. So
Mm,
yeah, my favorite place to go out, I don't know. Any place that's got really good Mexican food.
I'm
I
with you on
love
that.
um along with, Italian. But yeah, I love food. So but yeah, recommendations, I don't know, which is
Okay,
sad. I know I can't give you a specific.
that is okay. Summertime is my plan on going out there because I normally like to visit new places in the summertime. And
When the
just
weather's good.
yeah, when the weather's good, walking around,
Yeah.
and just see different things.
Mhm.
So I'm a huge breakfast person, so I want to be able
Ooh,
to try to find a breakfast spot to go to, but I also like Mexican and Italian food. Those are my two favorite genres.
lot of
Um,
good breakfast places. Yeah.
okay, cool. I'm with you on that. I love it. Let's talk about your day to day.
Okay.
Uh, and the reason why I like to bring that up, Deborah, is because as journalists, now I'm a freelance journalist, but I was working in publications for the past 6 years. And I know when you work in those publications or broadcasts or however you do it, our days are never the same. Every day is a new day. Every day is a new story. You probably worked all kinds of shifts as well, from night side, day side, overnight, maybe even that, right? Talk to me about your process of getting ready to just go to work and do your day to day, because again, we don't work at 8 to 4, 9 to 5 like business type schedules. Sometimes we work very long hours.
Yeah. Well, I'm here in my newsroom right now. I just got off the air about an hour ago. I actually report 3 days a week and then anchor our morning newscast on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And so my shift is pretty much always the same. Once in a while, they'll call me in to do something, a different time shift. But for the
Sure.
most part, I'm early in the morning, Wednesday through Sunday. Now,
Mhm.
when I started here, I started as a nightside reporter and then made this shift to early mornings. So my day starts at 2 o'clock in the morning when my alarm goes off.
Whew,
And
okay.
then, yeah, I get up and grab a cup of coffee first thing and hop in the shower and get yourself ready and get to work. Thank goodness I don't live far from the station, so it's a quick, easy commute by
Hmm.
design.
Hmm.
Um,
I'm
but that
sure.
time of day, there's usually not too much traffic, so it's an easy get to work. So I'm usually here between 3:15 and 3:30. And then on during the week, weekdays, our morning show starts at 4:30 in the morning, but I personally don't go on the air until 5. And then on the weekends that I anchor, our morning show is a shorter show, but I anchor it alone, and it's from 6 to 9. So those days of reporting, it's like once I get in, then it's finding out what my assignment is, and it's usually whatever, either if there's, breaking news, something that's happened either that morning or overnight, shooting, a fire, a bad crash, name it, or it's revisiting the stories that were done the night before and going out to the location where they happened, and kind of repurposing or retelling the same story that was done the night before, in a new way for the morning audience. So, and I do a live report every half hour. So from 5 in the morning until 9 in the morning, I'm doing a live hit, as we say, every half hour. So it's work. It's a grind. And then when you're outside and you're out in the elements, and in Portland, that means rain, wind, sometimes snow, ice.
Sure, sure.
Um, so yeah, and so that's kind of a typical day.
No, I like that. I like that you pointed that out because I love to ask that question about people's day to day. It's important that people know what a typical work day is, especially since you have two different kind of jobs. Because
Mhm.
reporting is a lot different. Reporting MMJ standing for multimedia journalists, which is one man bands in
Right.
certain markets. Because I know as you
We
move
have
up,
them here too. We do have
okay,
MMJs, yeah,
okay.
but I always go out with a photographer.
Absolutely. So and that's different from anchoring, right?
Yes.
Reading something and anchoring and being in front of the camera and
And that's
sitting
when you're,
still.
yeah, inside, sitting behind the anchor desk and reading from a prompter as opposed to, reading from your phone or ad-libbing or, so yeah, it's little different um, details to the job. Yeah.
Absolutely, no question. Let me ask you about work-life balance and mental health.
Okay.
Now, obviously, as you said, you've been in this industry for 40 plus years, right? So you've seen a whole lot, you've experienced a whole lot. There's no question about that in journalism. But I would love to ask you, how do you keep your mental health strong, but also don't experience things like burnout, overworked, and underpaid? Because a lot of times, Deborah, when people start out in this industry and they go through it a few months or maybe a year or two, those kind of thoughts come into people's minds
Yes.
about that, right? And also, it affects people's mental health. I'm sure you've had many colleagues in your time that have walked away from
Yes.
journalism and pivoted and did something else, which is
Hmm.
fine, totally cool.
Hmm.
In my short time, I've known some as well that have pivoted and walked away. So,
Hmm.
talk to me about how you stay strong with all this experience of years, mental health wise, but also not experience those burnout type of situations.
There are a couple of things that affect you emotionally in this job. Well, if you have to be okay with deadlines, you have to be okay with fast pace, getting the job done quickly, and being correct. Because I
Yeah.
mean, what we do is important. They have to be facts. They can't be tainted. They can't be um, uh, tainted is a good word.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
you
yeah.
have to make sure that what you're saying is factually correct. It needs to be compelling, or the audience won't want to pay attention or watch.
Right.
And you have to get it done. Like I said, if I'm doing a live report every half hour, that means turning those stories, that quickly. But even if you're working on a report for our nightside newscasts, you still have to, get out there, gather the information, shoot the interviews, write it, hand it off to your editor to put it all together, and then, front it live on location or in the studio. And all of that is on deadline. Everything has to meet, certain deadlines. So if you're not okay with fast pace, this definitely is not a job for you. And
Sure.
what's sad is I do now everything way too fast. There's times when I just hurry through everything. I eat fast, I get ready fast, I do everything. I don't know how to slow down and take my time. So relaxation is hard for me because I'm so
Right.
used to being under deadline and on the clock. But that said, that is one of the things when you need to take care of yourself is to kind of have those conversations with yourself, like, okay, you need to don't look at any social media, don't even watch a newscast on your days off. Just separate yourself from it for a little while.
Absolutely.
And maybe just before you're about to go back in, then catch up or glance at it if you want to kind of keep up with what's going on, but don't immerse yourself and don't constantly scroll through the media to see what's going on. Just you have to step away from it and not look at it.
Sure.
And that gives you that kind of mental break, a little bit of one. With my job, because I have to get up so early, that means I go to bed early, and I also work on weekends. So it's been hard, socially for my husband and I, because he's retired now. He's also from the business, so he gets it. He spent a couple of decades in news and sports, most primarily sports.
Sure.
And so he understands, what I'm dealing with, but we don't always get to do things that everybody else does on a weekend because I have to go to bed early.
Right.
And so we have to make time to make sure that we do things together and have fun on my days off. So my weekend is Monday and Tuesday, so we have to take advantage of that when we can. And that's also how you have to take care of yourself and your mental health, and but those two primary things. And remind yourself to rest, remind yourself to, it's easy, like I should technically, be in bed by 7 o'clock at night to get a decent night's sleep. But there's times when I don't want to, or I'm not sleepy, because your
Right.
body doesn't naturally want to go to sleep that early, to wake up that early.
Right.
And so it's reminding yourself, but you really need a minimum of 7 hours of sleep. You've got to get that sleep or your body's going to shut down, and you can't afford that. So those are the things. And then there's the other part, that not just the physical grind, but sometimes the stories themselves can get to you emotionally. I have interviewed
Absolutely.
parents that just lost a child, and literally was crying while I was interviewing them. And it's not about me. You didn't see me on camera shedding tears, because that's not what it was about. But it was just, I was feeling for them as I was talking to them, and they were gracious enough to be willing to talk to me. And
Absolutely.
that's hard. Like my husband says that a lot of times, news headlines are Satan's greatest hits, because typically what makes news is the ugly in the world, the really bad stuff that's happening.
Mm.
And so you have to be careful about, how much you let that in. When I was still nightside reporting the first 5 years I was here, I realized one week that almost every day I was doing a story that involved children in a bad way, either, sex abuse or some other kind of abuse, or they were harmed somehow, or, and
Sure.
we were sitting in a story conference, and I was about to get my assignment, and I said, can I please, just reminding them, I've been doing several stories in a row of children being harmed. I said,
Right.
give me anything, just something else, whatever
Something
it
different.
is. I need to take that break from
Right.
from that, to give my mind and my heart a little bit of a rest, and advocate for yourself, even on the job. And they hadn't stopped to think about, oh yeah, you have, okay, you're right. And so I got another kind of story, but um so those things are important, to take care of your physical health and your mental health. And you're right. Many colleagues who, much younger, got into the business and realized, yeah, I'm in a big market, but I'm not really making big market money, because that's just kind of, the way the industry is going, and was disillusioned and realized, okay, to make a living, to keep, roof over my head and pay my bills and meet my obligations, I need to take a different job. And it wasn't their first choice, and they were sad to walk away, but felt like they had to.
Absolutely. You made some terrific points there, Deborah. You really did. And I'm gonna touch upon them before I get to this next question. Absolutely. The first point I want to touch upon is the fact that when you said people have left this industry to do something else. I just seen it so many times where money has been one of the main reasons, which I understand because it's
Mhm.
been sometimes it doesn't pay immediate. It's not immediate pay. And sometimes, Deborah, it's a misconception with especially graduates that come out of college that see people on TV because they think it's the glam and the glitz of it.
Yes.
They don't realize that there's a lot of behind the scenes work that you do, as all journalists do, to get prepared to do what you do, whether it's broadcast reporting as MMJ or outside, or whether it's anchoring. It's not really about being famous or glitz and glam. Like you have to get in this industry for the right reasons. Um, but it's important that people know the A side and the B side. The A side is what we talked about: doing stories, being an advocate for people, being a pillar
Yes.
in our communities. You talked about not being on camera, but it's very tough to do these hard news stories. But it also provides an out for the people that we're interviewing, because they can find out and inquire some information about what's going on in his life, or talk about who this person was to them, right? It almost provides an out
Mm.
for them to talk about it, and be able to share their thoughts and opinions, or thoughts, I should say. But the B side is what we also mentioned: you do miss holidays with family because you work holidays. You do have to wake up at certain times at the shifts. Or you said you work different shifts. Yep, you do have to work different shifts. You may have to move to a city you've never even heard
Yes.
of. Move away from your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that because
Mhm.
they don't know, because they're not in it. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this podcast, is to educate people, have fun, get to know people, absolutely, and network, but to also inform. If this is something that you really want to do and you're passionate about it, do it by means, because it's a wonderful business to be in.
It is.
But you
And it's
cannot.
so important. It's important for people that have integrity, that want to do the job because they recognize the importance of telling vital, important stories and telling them truthfully and not biased. That's really, that's just, it's just so, so important. But yeah, a lot of people think, okay, I've got my degree. I'm going to New York and
Right,
I'm going to have people do my hair and makeup for me and pick my wardrobe and it's all going to be taken care of. And that's just not the case.
it's not.
Those kinds of jobs are rare, and people that actually get them hang on to them for a long time. So yeah, when you get into this business, you have to do it because you love that prior set of circumstances that I was talking about, the passion of wanting to tell stories and to be a source of information that people can trust in
Absolutely.
your local community. And, once in a while, those big breaks come and you get to do the glamorous stuff. But most of these jobs throughout most of the country, because there's not that many that are there in the New York and the LA and the Chicago, for people, you're in the grind and you're in the nitty gritty, and it's not glamorous, and sometimes it's not fun and it's not pretty.
Right.
But it's important. So yeah, you have to decide a couple of things. What do you want, and what do you need?
Absolutely. And it makes a great segue of a question, Deborah, which is, you kind of touched upon it, was hard news stories. Was it hard for you to separate yourself when you first got involved of doing journalism from these hard news, tragic stories? Because sometimes, journalists take it home with them, and it's very hard to separate yourself from it. Was it always as hard, or is it easier now that you've been into it for many years? Like, talk to me about that.
I would say that it depends on the story for me.
Okay.
Um, I am a wife, I am a mother. And so like I was talking about earlier, that stories that negatively impact or about a negative impact to children are usually difficult because they're the innocents, they're the young ones. We're supposed to protect them. And so when you're covering a story where that hasn't happened, that can be tough. And the stories against women, one of the cases, or one story that really stuck with me for a long time, was years ago, well, over 20 years ago, just before I came here.
Hmm.
And it was a story of a man who had murdered um, three women,
Wow.
and actually four women. And
Okay.
he did it um, just outside Yosemite National Park,
Hmm.
and one woman inside the park. And I covered his trial. And after he was caught and interviewed by police, they recorded that interview. And in one of the trial segments, they played the interview where he actually describes his thought process, why he did it, what he did, how he did it, where he's describing killing these women.
Right.
And that haunted me for a lot. And this was a lengthy trial. Murder trials, especially if they're involved with, different venues, and which his was, because
They
one of the
take
murders
time.
was actually inside a national park. So it was a federal court and other ones were outside. But it went on for a long, long time. And
Sure.
yeah, so that one stuck with me for a long time because it was just horrific. So, again, I wouldn't say that I've learned better how to separate myself. It's just most of the time I can do the job and walk away from it, and I think about it a little bit, and I'll go home and talk it over with my husband, and then, okay, now it's time to be involved with home life and what we need to do.
Absolutely.
But every once in a while, yeah, I'll do a story or come across one again that kind of sticks with you for a while, and yeah, you just have to feel what you feel, and
I totally get it.
yeah.
It's a question worth asking,
Yes.
because I veered away from news because of that. I love sports. I really do. I love sports with a passion too, also. But it was just tough for me to envision myself to go up to somebody like a mother or a father that's lost a child, or a burning home, a drive by, somebody being murdered. Because you have to know every family is different. How do you give people certain grace in order to be able to talk to them, when to talk to them,
Mhm.
and stuff like that, right? So
Yes.
it was tough for me to do. Now, I'm not saying sports don't have hard news, because when I covered sports, I covered 12 high schools. Well, in Atlanta, I covered several more high schools, and then I came to Minnesota and then started doing it full time, and I covered 12 high schools and a college. And I remember going up to some of these young boys and girls and talking to them after their season ended, and you see the tears. You see the
Mhm.
tears flowing down their face because, one, they've lost, two, the season's over, and three, the locker room is never going to be the same because the
Mhm.
seniors that were on that team are going to be gone. So that's hard to do. It is
Mhm.
hard because they're young and they want to win. Everybody wants to win, but that's the difference, in my opinion, with sports
Mhm.
and news. Sports, you kind of know going into it, there's going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser. So potentially, one of those two is going to happen when you do play competition. In life, when I walk out the door, I would like to come back home. I'm just saying, you would like to come back home. You just never know if you're going to, because different things happen, and it's a blessing when you do.
Mhm.
And stuff like that. But it's another great segue, because I want to ask you about advice.
Ooh.
We kind of gave a little nuggets of advice earlier, but I want to know, what is some advice that you would give maybe a postgraduate or maybe an intern? I'm sure you've had interns running
Yeah.
around there at
Mhm.
KPTV. What kind of advice and nuggets would you give them about joining this journalism industry?
Um, I give them some of the same things that we've already touched on, just to be prepared for the grind it will take, and to be okay with the fact that it may not be for you. I've had the opportunity to go to schools, like high schools before kids are going into college that think that's what they want to do, and tell them, like, absolutely pursue it. But it might be a good idea too to have not necessarily a fallback, but kind of minor in something else you enjoy, or something else that you could pursue as a job, just in case either the journalism doesn't work out, or it's not what you thought it was, or it doesn't make you the money that you hoped, and you've got to support yourself. I mean, let's be real, life is life. We have to meet our obligations, and
Absolutely.
a roof over our head and food in our mouths. So just I give them that to maybe diversify a little bit. Don't necessarily put everything into
All your
a
eggs in one basket.
journalism degree, right? Because
Mhm.
you may have to, fall back on something else. But if that's your passion and that's what you want, then absolutely go for it and pursue every opportunity. Um, and recognize that it's not going to be glamorous to start. And if you start in a really small market where you're kind of doing everything, that's actually a really good thing. Because when you learn all the different aspects in a smaller town, it gives you a real good insight of which avenue you want to go. Because some people think, oh, I'm going to be, an anchor. And then they realize, no, I really love live reporting out in the field. And they realize that's where their passion and their talent lies, as opposed to, sitting behind an anchor desk. Or you get into it and you realize, no, I really like lining up the stories and deciding how a newscast is going to go. And then, it's like, then be a producer. There's so many different aspects of this job that you don't all have to be, look all pretty and glamorous and be, in front of the camera. You can be behind it. You can be the one shooting the camera. You can be the one that sets up all the graphics and makes all the, the fancy things that people see on the air. There's so many different aspects to the job that it gives you a lot of different opportunities. So you don't have to just funnel yourself into one thing. And then there's sports and there's weather, there's people that decide, I want to be on air, but I want, to pursue a meteorological degree. We have some that have journalism degrees and are meteorologists, and that's, pretty amazing. So, I mean, again, there's a lot more to it than just reading and writing news stories and then presenting them on the air.
Absolutely. I love that answer. And
Yeah.
you gave great answers all along, but I really love that answer because it's not talking about a plan B, but it is talking about something where, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. I'm
Oh,
pursuing I'm
yeah.
pursuing my master's degree. I graduate May of 25. And it's in
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Deborah. I
Well, I
really
guess it's
appreciate it.
pre-congratulations once you get it, right?
That's true. That's true. I got another semester, but it's my last one pretty much. So that's
Good.
pretty
You've
awesome.
done it.
But
Yeah.
but I wanted to do that because I substitute teach. And that's one of the things I also do. I like to sub teach. And I love talking to the young boys and girls in these high schools and being a mentor.
Yeah.
And beginning my master's has definitely opened up another avenue to where I would love to teach on a full-time level if the
Oh,
right situation presents itself. I also feel that the two things that I advocate more than anything to definitely the young girls and boys is one, try everything. And not just in our profession, which is media and journalism, but any profession you go into, try everything. You want to be a jack of all trades, but you also want to see what you want to do and see what you don't want to do. That's why I say try everything.
yeah.
That's the main thing that I always try to tell people. And then the second thing is be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's the one that people definitely ask me about the most. And I say, I live my life like that, Deborah. I really do. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. There's going to be situations and times where you're not going to be the most comfortable,
Mhm.
whether it's in journalism or whatever profession. But if you can turn that uncomfortableness into a comfort, it gives you a way to deal with difficult things in life, difficult things with your
Yes.
job, difficult things with people, because you're going to encounter that in life. In some way, somehow, you're going to have a difficult situation. So if you can be comfortable being uncomfortable, it just allows your character to grow and it also allows you to be able to deal with things that may not be at first comfortable with you. I can't tell you the number of journalists that came on here and said I wasn't comfortable talking or public speaking out loud or having cameras in my face. But when I started the job, they started to get comfortable because they knew that in order for you to get sources, in order for you to get interviews, and for order for you to do your job, you're going to have
Yeah.
to be able to go out and talk to people as
So
a journalist.
that's an interesting aspect because when I was younger, I had a teacher that really kind of forced me, and I'm glad he did, to do public speaking in
Mhm,
it for class work.
mhm,
And I was always very frightened to speak in front of a large group, like a whole
mhm,
assembly of people, that whole fear of failure that I'm going to look bad or do something wrong.
mhm.
But with this job, you're not talking to a whole bunch of people. You're not seeing their faces.
Right,
You're usually just talking one-on-one with one person. And
right,
it's the same even when you're holding a microphone and looking into a camera. I'm just looking at this machine with maybe one person behind it. So I'm still having that one-on-one conversation. So
right.
that became not intimidating for me because it was like, how, isn't that frightening to do? No, 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 no. Public speaking in front of a lot of people is still
Sure.
kind of nerve-wracking even for me. But the journalism part that I do is still just having a one-on-one conversation with one person. Now,
Yeah.
when you make a mistake, tens of thousands of people watch it because you're live, but
Mhm.
you're not thinking about that.
No.
You're just having, it's like you and I, we're having a one-on-one conversation. And that's how I can make what's uncomfortable comfortable for me.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be a real asset for you if you do that, in my opinion. And like I said, I live my life like that. I just feel like there's a lot of times where there could be some uncomfortable situations, but you can always turn uncomfortable into a comfort somehow, some way for you.
Yeah.
I really do feel that. I also like the point that you made about the smaller towns. Being able to have those reps, and it's great to have those reps. But you also can make the mistakes in those smaller towns as well, because once you get up to the bigger towns, they're gonna think, okay, you can't make those same kind of mistakes that you made in a smaller town. So it's good to get the nuts and bolts out of those smaller towns to be able to learn and grow. Because as you do ascend in markets, they're gonna think, okay, this person shouldn't be making those same small town mistakes over and
Yeah.
over again.
Yeah.
So I definitely think to get the reps and make mistakes is even
Yeah.
better in a smaller town
It's
as well.
it's it's like, single A minor league ball. You're learning, you're growing your craft, you're getting better,
Hmm.
you're honing your skills, and then you move on.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. No question. Once you get to the major leagues, it's time to get busy. So
there
there's
you
no
go.
question. I love it. We have came to the portion of the podcast now that we're going to do this or that. It's an interaction game that I do with all my guests here on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. And simply put, I throw some things at you, Deborah, and you get to choose this or that. So, are you
Okay.
with me?
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. I love it. All right. Now, we've been vibing all podcast long. Okay, you've been absolutely wonderful. Let's keep that thing going. Okay. So,
Okay.
if there was two chicken restaurants, of these two chicken restaurants, which one would you choose to eat at? Popeyes or KFC?
Popeyes.
Okay, I'm with you on that. You on point like a period right now, Deborah. I love it. Here we go. We're gonna keep it going. All right. Chicken wing flavors. Which one would you rather put on a chicken? Barbecue or lemon pepper?
Barbecue.
Okay. Do you like your wings wet or dry?
Um, Clarify.
Okay. So wet wings are a lot of sauce.
Okay.
Dry is like a dry rub, like nothing.
Okay. Wet.
Okay. Do you like your wings bone in or boneless?
I like them both. Um, Boneless, you can just sort of eat it all, and you don't have the mess, but a traditional wing is with bone in. So
Hmm.
I'll go traditional, bone in.
Okay. You like to get a little messy, is what you're saying.
I don't actually.
That's okay. Listen, get a wet wipe and wipe your hands, and
There
you're
you
good to
go.
go. There you go. You
That's
go
what a
at it.
sink and soap and water's for.
Hello. I'm with you on that. Okay. These next four have to do with music concerts that
Okay.
you rather attend and go to. So here we go.
Okay.
Which music concert would you rather attend? Def Leppard or Aerosmith?
Oh man, that's tough. And I've not seen Def
I like
Leppard.
both groups. Both
I do
groups are
too.
amazing.
I've seen Aerosmith. I haven't seen Def Leppard, so I'm gonna go with Def Leppard
Okay, I
because I
like you
haven't
on that.
seen him yet and I want to see him.
Okay, or I should say, which concert would you like to go see? Would you like to go see Motley Crue or Kiss?
Motley Crue.
Okay, I got you on that. Which artist would you rather see in person? And this is a hypothetical one, but which artist would you rather see in person? Mariah Carey or Janet Jackson?
Ooh, man, back in the day, I loved Janet Jackson. I'll go Janet.
Okay, I like that. Which artist would you rather see in person? Okay, would you rather see Whitney Houston or Celine Dion?
Whitney.
I love it. I love it. You got some good taste there, Deborah. I'm gonna tell you that right there. You got some good music. I love it. Here we go. Which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Badminton or bowling? They're both a lot of fun. Ooh, badminton.
Okay. Now, are you a good bowler?
Eh, not really. It's
Okay,
fun, but yeah.
I figured that when you said I was like, yeah, she might not be that good. That's okay. That's
I
all
haven't
right.
done it in a long time, so
Listen, no judgment here, unless you do you need bumpers. Let me ask you
that's
that.
a
Do you
good
need
that's
bumpers?
a good reminder though. I need to go bowling. No, no, I don't.
Okay, as long as you don't, yes, you absolutely should. Definitely go bowling. Which sport would you rather watch on TV? Basketball or baseball?
I am such a huge baseball fan, but basketball is faster pace. And most people think I'm nuts because I actually can stand to watch baseball on TV because most
Hmm.
people think, no, that's a game you have to see in person. I love the sport, so I like even watching it on TV.
Sure.
Uh, I'm gonna go baseball.
Okay. Now, this is kind of a bonus question. I'm gonna get back to this or that, but I want to know: do you get a chance to go see your Giants if they're in Seattle? If they come to Seattle, are you attending the game, or are you still just staying at home watching?
I have gone up to when I can, when the schedule allows. I have gone to Seattle to see them, or I've gone
Okay.
even to San Francisco, or also what I love to do
Mhm.
is when spring training starts, because by then we are growing webbed feet here in the Northwest. It's been so cold and so raining, and we're desperate for some sun. My husband and I head to Phoenix and take in a week of spring training, and I get to see the Giants play then in Scottsdale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love that. That's amazing. I want to get. Let me get back to it. Here we go. Do you like desserts?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, Deborah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw four categories of desserts at you.
Okay.
You got to choose one of these that you'll never eat again.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so here we go. The first one is cookies. The second one is candy. The third one is cake. The last one is ice cream. Which category are you getting rid of that you'll never eat again?
Candy. I
Deborah,
need the other three.
girl, we on point right now. I'm
I
telling
need
you.
the other three. Yeah, candy is an easy one.
What's your favorite ice cream?
Ooh. Um, what's what I've had lately that I really like?
Mm.
I think it's called Moose Tracks. It's like chocolate with a caramel ribbon and some
Is that
nuts
Ben and
and cinnamon.
Jerry's?
Huh?
Ben and Jerry's?
Is it Ben and Jerry's?
I
Maybe.
think that is. I think that is.
I can't
I'm a
remember.
huge Ben and Jerry person. That's West
Really
Coast.
good.
So West Coast out there, they
Yeah.
have Ben and Jerry's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up
Yes.
with Baskin Robbins. That's what I grew up with. For
Yeah.
sure. Cookies and cream is my favorite ice cream.
Oh, it's that's a classic. That's always good.
Absolutely, no question. Do you like potato chips?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so same format. I'm gonna throw
Okay.
out four brands. You got
Okay.
to get rid of one of these brands. Never eat again. So here we go. First brand is Doritos. The
Okay.
second brand is Lay's.
Okay.
The third brand is Ruffles. The last brand is Pringles. Which one are you getting rid of?
Pringles.
Okay, I like that. You know, the greatest chip ever made was Ruffles sour cream and cheddar. That's the
Yeah.
greatest chip.
Very good. Yes.
Yep,
Agreed.
indeed. I use that chip for buffalo chicken dip.
Ooh,
So good,
yeah.
so good. Okay, well, with you on that, girl. We got some unique tastes. We got some similar tastes. I like that. That's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. I love asking this next question to journalists, especially, and that is, if you wasn't a journalist, what career path you would have pursued to do differently and why?
Uh, at one point, I thought I wanted to have a coffee shop. And
Okay,
at one point, I thought I wanted to run a bed and breakfast.
I would have came there. I would have supported your business. There's
Oh,
no
thank
question
you.
about it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Wow, bed and breakfast and coffee. Now, let me also preface this. I've never had a cup of coffee in my 37 years of existence that I've been
Wow.
on. I've never had a cup of coffee.
Have you tried it? No,
No,
you just have no desire.
no desire. My whole family drinks it.
Interesting.
And they say, well, what do you drink when you get up in the morning?
Right.
I typically like to drink either my water, and then I have different juices like apple juice, pineapple juice, grape juice. I like to have different juices like that because I'm such a juicer, which
Hmm.
is which kind of segues to this next question because I
It's
have
probably
two top
healthier
four.
than coffee.
Right, right, no doubt. I
I'm
have two top
addicted.
four questions,
I'm
and this.
addicted to coffee, so
Oh,
okay.
you addicted to coffee?
Oh, yes.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm sure they got many stuff. Now, are you Starbucks or Dunkin'?
Starbucks.
Okay, you Starbucks. Okay.
Yeah.
Some people are Starbucks, some people are Dunkin'. And look at you having coffee there. I love it. That's awesome. This is the top four question.
Okay.
What is the top four places I should go when I visit Portland for the first time? And like
Okay.
I said, I'm a huge juicer person, so any smoothie place that you know of, I would love to hear that place because I'm going to check it out.
I haven't been to any, so I can't help you.
That's okay.
I would have
That's
to do some research. I honestly don't know what would be good,
that is
like
totally fine.
smoothies
What about some places in Portland though that I should go, that I
to,
should visit, that you know of, like a top four?
to go see.
Yeah.
And especially since you want to come in the summer,
Yes.
Washington Park and the Rose Garden. The city is known, we are the city of roses. It's known for roses. And in June, late June, when there's a garden that is filled with all these different kinds of rose bushes, and it's just beautiful. It's just gorgeous. That you have to go see.
Okay.
Um, you need to head east about an hour, not quite an hour, maybe a half-hour drive from Portland, Multnomah Falls. Big waterfall area. You can go climb the trail to the top and look
Mhm.
down. But it's just beautiful. Everyone, that's a must for everyone that comes to Portland. They go out to see Multnomah Falls.
Okay.
Um, just downtown visiting, there's so many restaurants and shops, and then walking along the Willamette River in the downtown area is just beautiful. In the summer, it's gorgeous. So you need to visit downtown, hang out, and walk along the river. What else is a
Mhm.
must? Someone else is gonna see this and go, why didn't you mention, fill in the blank. Trying to think of what else would be a must.
Is there any kind of sporting event that goes on there in the summertime?
In the summer, oh yes. Um, Timbers and Thorns, Major League or yeah, Major League Soccer
Okay.
and the National Women's League of Soccer.
I'll support
Professional
both.
teams, both excellent, both so much fun, so crazy, so loud, so intense. It has a reputation. Anyone that comes here, if you can go to a soccer match, either men's or women's, you will thoroughly enjoy it. That's a
Absolutely. I
must.
love that. I love those four different things. I'm definitely, like I said, very interested in going into the summertime. I would definitely check that out. Of course, while important, I would have to stop by and say hello to you. That would be amazing as well. No question about that.
There's also minor league baseball in Hillsborough, which is just outside of Portland. If you go
Okay.
west of Portland, great minor league team. Long season A for the Diamondbacks, Hillsborough
Okay.
Hawks.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
and yeah,
I
those
like
those
that.
would be the summer sports to go see.
I like that. No question. No
Yeah.
question about it. Now I had another top four. This top four question now is about you.
Okay.
I would love to know what is, and you've done plenty of stories in your obviously career, but I want to know what is the top four stories that you would like to do that you haven't done yet?
Oh, wow. I've
Man,
never thought of that.
yeah, yeah. I
I've
love
never
asking that
thought
question.
of a story that I would like to do that I haven't done. That would take
Yeah.
some thought.
I love it. No, no, listen, let's come back to it. We're gonna come. I'll give you some time to think. We're gonna come back
Okay.
to it. I'm gonna throw some ideas out at you though. Maybe
Okay.
you like to MC an event. Maybe you like to do a red carpet event maybe one time. Maybe you like to do an election. I don't know if you've done an election before.
Yeah, I have.
Okay, so then maybe you would like to do a sporting event, maybe a NBA finals, maybe a Timbers finals, MSL, or some kind of sporting event that you would like to do. The
Obviously.
Olympics,
Yeah, I'm a
um,
huge
the,
sports fan,
the
so covering any of those would be great.
right? The Olympics is coming up in 28 in Los Angeles, so I'm
Yeah.
sure
Yeah.
Why not? So I'm just throwing some things out there, but I'll
I
come back
like
to
it.
you. Advice. What is some advice that someone has gave you that you hold on dearly to? We talked about advice you would give, but what is some advice that someone has gave you that you hold on dearly to?
In general for life or the career, the job?
Both,
Oh,
both of them.
goodness. My mom once told me, and this one's you talk about, being comfortable with being uncomfortable, is you're never stuck. And usually that just means making a different decision, a different choice. And most people go, no, I have to do this or I have to do that. And when you really think about it, no, you don't. You're choosing to. You can choose to do something different. It will probably be hard to make a
Right,
different choice, to go somewhere else, to move, or to change a relationship, or whatever it is that you're feeling stuck, but you're not ever stuck. It's just a matter of making a different decision and then acting on it.
right. I love
And
that.
then
Mama's right.
one is don't accept what's handed to you. Now, sometimes what's given to you is a gift and you embrace it. And other times that's not really what I was going for. And I
Right,
would like to pursue something else. So sometimes, when you go anywhere, do anything, there's something that, or someone just says, well, here's how it is. Don't always accept the first thing that's given to you. Pursue it a little bit and see, is that really what I want? Is that really the best? Or, can I work on this a little bit more or tweak something? But don't just immediately accept what's handed to you.
I love that second one a lot. I try to tell my college boys and men and women, I should say, that I've covered out here that especially with journalism jobs. Three things that I'd like to tell them, Deborah, is one, anytime, fill out as many applications as you possibly can. Understand that you're going to get a lot more no's than yeses. Don't be discouraged. It's okay. It happens to all of us that's in this industry. It really does. You're going to get a lot more no's, but all you need is one yes.
Yeah.
And then there could be one yes, but I tell them this: once you get that yes, you got to do these sub steps, and that's one, if they are willing to offer you something and they haven't like allowed you to kind of scope the landscape of where you're going, if you've never been there, meaning if they're not willing to fly you out or do something like that, to me, in my opinion, I tell my boys and girls, that's a red flag.
Mm,
You never want to go to a place that you've never been because one, you don't know what it is. So you kind
true.
of want to go and you want to scope the place out. You want to meet your coworkers. You want to meet your boss in person. You want to kind of get a feel for people.
Hmm.
Do that. Now you don't need to have an extended type of visit, but it's enough to where you want to meet people, have them meet you, ingratiate yourself. But you're also doing that with the city as well.
Yeah.
When you
Getting a
move
feel
to
for
the
it.
city,
Mhm.
get a feel for it.
Yeah.
And then the second thing I tell them is if they're not willing to give you a time frame to where you can give a proper 2 week notice to your other job, and they want you to start like immediately after that, to me, that's a red flag too.
Hmm.
Most companies should know that if you're going to be proper enough, you got to give a 2 week notice.
Yeah.
And then also give an additional 2 weeks so that way you can move down there and get a place and be able to do that. So
But that's being respectful to your former employer, your future employer. You're respecting the job, the position. Yeah, being respectful usually comes back to you. So I always advocate for, yeah, you be respectful first and foremost.
absolutely. And we know that there is certain jobs out there that want you to start immediately. And my thing is, that's cool. That's fine that you do, but I cannot. Now, if you can't do that, then you got to pivot to someone else. And like you always said, don't always take the first thing that's handed to you. You got to be able to decipher what's right for you. But those two things I really advocate home about that. Once you get your yeses, those boxes have to be checked for me. And you should check those boxes too. And then lastly, talk to your parents.
Yeah.
Talk to people that's been in the industry before. Find a mentor. Talk to somebody and get some advice on whether or not you should take that after you gather all the information because they're going to give you some really good advice. I know that's what I did moving up here, being able to do that. I wanted to have a visit. I wanted to be able to scope the land. And I also wanted to talk to some mentors that I have because
Hmm.
they've been in this and they know what I'm about to go through. So that's what I've told them for
Yeah,
sure.
agreed.
Um, Now I'm gonna come back to that question. Do you think you got four for me that you think that you can do as far as stories wise?
Oh, I still don't have a good answer for you because I mean, all the things you threw out there would be, yeah, they would be, those would be dream dream stories, like a major sporting event to be able to cover it.
Okay.
That would be, yeah, that would be great, given how much of a sports fan I am, because I've done some really interesting, cool things. Like I, never dreamed I would be flown to another state and to cover a major story. And when I got to cover the fires
The Maui.
impact in Maui was incredible. And that
Cool.
was almost like, the culmination. I've gotten to fly with the Blue Angels in a jet. I've gotten
That's
to
pretty cool.
fly out to an aircraft carrier and spend the night on an aircraft carrier and be catapulted off of it to leave and land. I mean, the whole, that kind of Navy military experience. I mean, I've done some really cool things already, so it was hard. But that's probably one thing I haven't is cover a major sporting event. I think that would be pretty cool.
So let me give you some different sports, and then we can go on to here. Would you mind covering the World Series?
No, that'd be great.
Okay. Would you mind covering maybe NBA Finals?
Sure.
Okay. What about Stanley Cup, NHL?
Oh, yeah, I love hockey too.
Okay. And then what about also maybe a national championship game, college basketball or football?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. College sports are wonderful when the kids
Okay.
are young and enthusiastic and passionate and they're not tainted by the world yet.
Absolutely, absolutely. Which obviously today is a very important day in the landscape of college football because now we're going to find out the 12 teams in there,
Yes.
which is the biggest question of the day, Alabama or SMU. Which one is going to occupy that final spot? Because I think we have 11 locks, to be honest with you, in my opinion. But that last spot is definitely up in the air. So we will see how that goes.
Yeah, we will.
Which obviously Oregon there being the number one team, it has to be like bonanza over there with them because
Oh, yeah.
they're the hottest team in college football right now.
Yes, yes. Everyone's pretty excited.
Now, how far is this is a bonus question? How far is Eugene from Oregon? Because that's where Eugene is at the University of
Yeah,
Oregon.
yeah. The University of Oregon is in Eugene. It's about a 2-hour drive south from Portland, where we are.
So do you see yourself possibly going to cover a game like that? I know there's reporters there, but what if they say, "Yo, Deborah, we don't need some help. We would love
Oh,
for you to come up."
yeah. I'm there.
I got you. Even on a day off, right? Even on a Monday,
Sure.
Tuesday. I got you. Totally, totally. That's awesome. Okay. Let me we're getting towards the end of the podcast. So now what I want to do is some rapid fire. Okay. So basically what it is I want to throw some things out at you. The first thing that comes to mind, you answer it. So here we go.
Okay.
Burgers or tacos?
Ooh, you're tough. Oh man. Tacos.
Here we go. Pancakes or waffles?
Ooh, waffles.
Okay. Chicken or ribs?
Chicken.
Okay. Favorite color?
Maroon.
Okay. Favorite alcoholic drink?
Wine.
Oh, are you a cab? Are you a Merlot? Are you a Moscato?
A cab.
Yep, I like it. I like spinning that red wine around, getting a
Yeah.
nice smell. I like that. You got good taste, girl. I love it. Okay. Favorite card game?
Card game.
hmm
Ooh. There's something fun about just an old school game of Go Fish.
Look, you have definitely the first guest that have said that. That's okay. That's all right. No
They're
question.
fun. I mean,
I feel it.
I learned it as a kid with my grandmother, and then I played it with my kid when, I was bringing her up. So it's like, it's fun.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, no. Hey, I love Go Fish. No doubt about that. Spades or dominoes?
I don't know how to play either one.
Deborah, we're gonna have to fix that. When
I
I'm in
know
Portland,
that. Yeah.
we're gonna have to fix that when I come to Portland.
I've
I'm gonna
led
bring a deck of cards. I'm
a,
throwing a deck of cards in the bag.
yep, a sad lacking life.
That's okay. Listen, those are cookout games.
Yeah.
So when you go to the cookout, like in outside, you play spades or dominoes. But
Yes. Yeah, I realize.
it's okay. That's all right. We can't have it all. You have everything. We can't have it all.
Close.
Right. Favorite sandwich.
Turkey, bacon, avocado.
That's really good. Favorite TV show.
Ooh. I don't really watch TV shows. I
Okay.
watch things on YouTube and I watch
You watch
Netflix
Netflix?
and watch Netflix movies. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not into normal, just your typical TV shows.
Do you watch documentaries?
Yeah.
What's your favorite documentary that
Oh,
you've seen?
wow. There's been too
Give me
many.
give me a couple.
It's been a while since I've seen a documentary because lately it's been all movies. So I'm trying to think of what I've seen lately or
Hmm.
documentaries that I just really, wow. Because at the time they're impactful and then I move on and watch something else and I forget about it.
I totally understand.
But yeah, I've watched several series on Netflix that have been like, oh my gosh, those kind of things. And now I can't remember what they are.
I totally understand. That's all right. That happens
I
to the
like
best.
watching them though, but
But you like watching documentaries.
I
Okay,
do.
okay, here we go. If you had three people that you could take on vacation with you plus one, which means four total, where would you go and who would you take?
Hmm.
Now, these could be real people, or like real, I mean, real people as far as your family, friends, or these could
Yeah.
be celebrities.
I well, going back to what we talked about earlier, because I've never been on a cruise,
Mhm.
I would like to take a cruise somewhere,
Okay,
like a fancy one.
okay,
And I think I would like to take um my mom
okay,
and my sister and brother.
okay.
They've been on a cruise together, but I haven't been with them. And my
Hmm.
mom is 81 now, and I'd like to take one final really good trip with her before she can't travel anymore.
Sure,
So, and I think it'd
sure.
be fun for her to have her kids with her when we do that. So, and we all get along, so it would be fun. So
Now,
that's
where would you go on this cruise? Now,
cool.
I went to the Eastern cruise. I went to Jamaica, Mexico. I went to the Cayman Islands and the Bahamas. That's the four places that I ported to on my particular cruise, porting from Florida. Where would you want to go to your cruise?
I would love to I've been to several parts of, well, to Baja, Mexico when I was younger and talk
Hmm.
about Cabo San Lucas. I would like to go back as I haven't been since I was a kid.
Sure.
And then maybe hit some mainland cities too, like, Puerto Vallarta or something. So that would be
Okay.
fun. But I also would really love to take an inside passage cruise up to Alaska and do it at a time when the northern lights are real visible. And I think that's in the colder months, not in the summer. So it would be kind of uncomfortable. It's not like, the southern climes where it's warm and, getting to wear shorts and t-shirts, but I've always wanted to see that. So
It's funny that you said that because I wanted to do two cruises in 25. I make a goal list every year of things that I want to do, of things I want to knock off. Two cruises is one. Greece is one that's a definite that's going to be in June, but I want to go to Alaska. And I was thinking about doing it sometime in October, November, around that time. Haven't
yeah,
solidified a month, but definitely around that time because I want
yeah,
to see something different. And I like going to different places. So yeah, it's funny you said that for sure.
yeah. When you go later like that, it's when you're experiencing that lengthy dark, where there's a lot of dark, but
Mhm.
you get a better chance of seeing the northern lights, which is a goal of mine. I've always wanted to see them, so I want to see it.
That's awesome. If
Yeah.
you had three artists or three songs that you could play on repeat and never get tired of, who would those three artists or three songs be?
Oh, wow. Um, this is the end of my day and my brain's shutting off and I'm trying to remember now. Let me think.
Would you want to do artists or songs?
Alter Bridge Rise Today is one I could play over and over again.
Okay.
Um, Whitesnake Judgment Day is another one that I love and could play over and over and again.
Okay. And last one.
Hmm.
These are good questions. I love it. I
These
love
are
it.
hard. This is hard nailing me down because I love so many artists and songs. Something that I could play like over and over again, not get tired of.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't think of the name of it right now.
Who's the artist?
Andrea Bocelli.
Okay, Andrea Bocelli. Okay,
Um, Andrea Bocelli.
that's true. Yes,
Is it Time to Say Goodbye? Is it in English? And I can't remember how it's worded in Italian, but he sings it in
ah,
Italian. He sings it in
got
Italian. And it's just,
you.
it's beautiful.
He has a beautiful voice, no question
Yeah.
about it. I've seen him live, had the pleasure of seeing him live. He's really good, no question about it.
It's always a duet with a female artist. And but yeah, it's Time to Say Goodbye.
Okay, I like that. Now, final one of the rapid fire. They came to you and said, Deborah, you can only do one of these jobs for the rest of your career. Which of these would you choose to do? Producing, reporting, or anchoring?
Ugh, that's hard because I've done all three.
Yep.
Um,
Which one do you love the most?
um, I love all three. I've done all three.
Mhm.
I mean, there's a part of me that wants to take the easy road and say anchoring because you're indoors and you don't have to deal with the outside elements. And then there's the part that wants to like, okay, I don't have to be on the air anymore. I've done it for so long. It'd be fun to be back behind the scenes again and produce. So I'll
Yeah,
go
but
anchoring.
yeah, cause I don't, I don't see that. I don't see that with you. You too
I'll
much of
go
a
anchoring.
wonderful personality. I see you definitely be. I thought you would pick reporting or anchoring, one of those two, for sure. I did.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Anchoring, okay.
Yeah.
This has been a really, really dope conversation, Deborah. Just getting to know you and your beginnings, all the way from Texas to California to now the unconventional way, right? Doing it the unconventional way, but doing it your way and working really hard and playing really hard. No pun intended for the podcast here, but just loved getting to know you, your advice, your stories, your knowledge of just the industry and your story. It's an amazing story to hear. It's an amazing story to tell. And I'm very thankful that you allocated your time to me to hop on my podcast, as I always do with every guest that I have on here. The final question is there anything else you would like to add about yourself or anything in general before we conclude?
No, there really isn't. But I really appreciate you inviting me and it's been a fun conversation, Chris.
It absolutely has, Deborah. Please, please don't be a stranger. We will definitely keep in touch. I want you to enjoy your Sunday and your next 2 days off, and
Thank you.
enjoy. Happy holidays to you and your
You too.
family, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you as well. Bye bye.